So our box trucks don't have any rivets in it. So it just keeps it looking clean. It keeps the graphics healthier, I would say, if that's a word for graphics, but they look better without the rust and whatnot. So
yeah, but still it's not advertising you. Still it's advertising the client.
No. So it's kind of crazy. Like it's like I've done magazine ads, I've done email blast, I've done SEO, and it's always been different. And, I started doing the retargeting, which I call creepy marketing. And I think that's still on my spreadsheet. I didn't know what it was called. I was like, the creepy, where we're creeping around and calling people online. So,
yeah.
So I've definitely done every aspect of marketing that I can think of. I love it. I think if you don't have your name out there, I work with my customers, even doing webinars and trying to teach them how to market their trucks.
All branding is personal, and it's not about who you say you are. It's about who you are and how you say it. I'm Hirsch Redroom, copywriter, comedian, and brand voice expert. I've helped hundreds of companies fine-tune their messaging, and now I'm sitting down with some of the most ambitious and imaginative founders around who share their seven-figure stories and their next-figure goals. Let's hit the Brand Voice Runway. Joining me today on Brand Voice Runway is CJ Stratte. CJ is the CEO of On the Move Trucking, a company that's been in business for 3 decades. And so she is carrying the mantle now of a family business, which is really interesting, I think, from the point of view of brand. And we will get into brand legacy and brand voice today. CJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm excited.
My pleasure. And likewise, let's start with that this is a 30-year-old business. That alone is impressive, is quite an accomplishment. But for you to kind of take that on and make that your business and career, what was that like? And when did you get involved in the family business?
I've been involved since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been here for a long time. It's been interesting. Our family company is actually the 4th largest rental truck fleet in the United States, but no one knows of us because we actually brand our customers. And I think that's what's made us so successful is our real estate customers, our self-storage customers, they use our truck as a marketing tool and brand themselves on it and use it in community events. And really, they use that to brand themselves for sure with their picture, and they use it they'll loan it out to their clients. And so then their clients are driving around and advertising them as well. So branding has always been very important to us in that aspect, but we always put our customer first and not our own brand. So
yeah. And, there really isn't a way around that per se. That's largely the service you're providing is for them to really get known. And so with that taken into consideration, what do you think are some of the keys to the success of On the Move over the decades?
Well, I think, just like any other company, if you listen to your customers and adapt to their needs and try to stay up with technology and just keep improving your brand, improving your trucks. Well, for us, it's improving our trucks. I know we've actually taken things into consideration from customers, and we've actually designed different elements of our truck to better their experience. For example, our ramps were being stolen out in the New Jersey area. So our door, actually, we have exclusivity to close the door over the ramp. Just things like that, I think, make a huge difference. It saves us definitely on insurance cost and keeps our customers happy, not worrying about where the heck their ramp went.
Yeah. And speaking of the customers, you one of the titles, we had bandied about a few titles that we had asked you for what our episode could be called. And one of them was Success Beyond Technology, how CJ Stratte prioritizes human connections in marketing. And I think that's interesting too, because if you're dealing with a brand situation where, putting yourself on the side of a truck isn't really, an option most of the time.
Right.
So how do you go about marketing, and what has possibly changed over the last maybe 7 or 8 years?
Well, it's so funny because we've always been, it's always been more, the better, the more it stands out, the crazier the graphics, the more bold colors you use is better for the graphics. But it's we've changed now where it's keep it simple. You just still want your name. You don't need to put every attribute of your business on there. You want to get them to call you. And so to change that even on a truck has been different, because I know my ads, I would try to explain what I do in a magazine ad, and it would take me a whole page at least to explain all the businesses that we do and our target markets and that kind of thing. but I've just seen it like swift change that way. Like, I think that was a big thing with like probably Apple, kept it simple. And I think a lot of us have followed, but I think, I can't just throw a truck on. People know who I am, unfortunately, but definitely like just looking at our show truck, I was looking at it from afar at a trade show I just did, and I could see it like outside the window in the parking lot. I was like, I can't read anything on my truck, and I was like, so that's not going to be successful for my customers, and their customers aren't going to be able to read their truck. So just taking that kind of stuff and realizing that tastes change, marketing changes. I know I started marketing before Facebook, and that kind of thing, and how that's definitely changed our world, and before podcast, right? So
right. Well, podcasts are a great way to get more than a sentence out.
Right.
It's more than what you would see on a truck. If you did advertise on trucks, it would be, okay, well, we can go a little bit deeper here. They're niche down. So the people who listen are interested in some aspect of it. They may not be interested in the trucking business per se, but they're certainly interested in how people grow their businesses and keep
Absolutely.
up with the marketing. You had also mentioned organic marketing. Talk a little bit about that and your experience with that.
Well, just organic marketing. I mean, it's definitely all word of mouth. Our branding, I feel, I just did a phone call where it was a referral, yesterday with a customer that called in and was like, and wanted to talk to me because that's who they were sent to, because I've built relationships with people in the industry and have done well for their clients. And as long as I keep our promise to do what we're saying we're going to do, then that's all I want to be branded as, is that a positive company, customer experience is great, and it's innovative. So
now, how does it compare to, let's say, when the company was founded? Who founded the company at first?
Yeah, my grandfather found it because he was looking for a new branding way. He had built storage facilities, and he was like, he never understood why people at the storage facilities would have U-Haul or Ryder, which is advertising U-Haul and Ryder, not his business. And so he came up with the idea. He's like, I better get my own truck and wrap it. And then it was like, and it was still fairly new in the storage industry world. Like, I mean, the storage has only been around since the 70s, which is kind of crazy to me. Yeah. But you go by older homes, it only has one garage. So I guess we just have collected more stuff over the years.
Yeah, right.
So, like, how did they do it with only one car garage compared to now? Is like, I have to have 4 if I even want to put my Christmas tree up or whatever, store my Christmas stuff. So,
and now where are you based?
We're based in San Antonio, but we are nationwide and in Canada.
Yeah, because you don't get to be the 4th largest fleet if you're just in one place.
Well, we do have a lot of storage facilities and real estate agents in Texas. So maybe if I had every single one, we would be okay. But no, we definitely have more growth in mind.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit. How do you describe your client a little bit? Describe your avatar.
Yeah, well, our customer is a storage owner or real estate owner just looking to be in the industry. It's pretty much an industry standard for self-storage. You have to have a truck, and it might as well be one that you're making money off. That's advertising you. It's just our theory. And so then our customers, they actually loan it out. They'll say, rent with me, use this truck for free as a storage facility. So it's a great marketing tool for them to use. And the same thing with real estate. They'll say, buy or sell with me, use this truck for free. So they'll buy the truck from me. I provide an insurance program for them to be able to rent it out to their customers or loan it out. And then we custom wrap it for them. And then we provide the technology for them to be able to rent it out as well.
Right. And now, have you ever considered working in any other business? How did you come to become as involved as you are?
Well, we definitely started in the storage industry, and that's like where we thought our bread and butter was. But a realtor or a real estate agent actually called us and asked if they could do a truck. And then that turned out to be an excellent market for us as well. So it was definitely real estate agents wanting to brand themselves in their community and thinking outside the box. And, instead of just giving some flowers and a bottle of champagne for a closing gift, they're like, hey, you can use my truck, 1, to move yourself if you want to, or 2, just to go get groceries and load it up. And if you don't have a normal car, and if you don't want to dirty your car up when you're going to the nursery, for plants or whatnot, it's just a great tool. You don't realize how much you need a truck until you're moving.
Yeah. What kinds of trucks are you, or do you have like a whole array of sizes, are they all one make for most of the time, the life of them?
Well, branding was very big to us. And so we definitely wanted to have a great looking truck that had great looking graphics and not rust or anything and look, look clean. So we actually found this company that does one piece fiberglass shells. So our box trucks don't have any rivets in it. So it just keeps it looking clean. It keeps the graphics healthier, I would say, if that's a word for graphics, but they look better without the rust and whatnot. So
yeah, but still it's not advertising you. Still it's advertising the client.
No, so it's kind of crazy. It's like I've done magazine ads, I've done email blast, I've done SEO, and it's always been different. And I started doing the retargeting, which I call creepy marketing. And I think that's still on my spreadsheet. I didn't know what it's called. I was like, the creepy, where we're creeping around and calling people online. So
yeah.
So I've definitely done every aspect of marketing that I can think of. I love it. I think if you don't have your name out there, I work with my customers, even doing webinars and trying to teach them how to market their trucks. I had a customer that just called and told me that they want to rent their truck out more. I'm like, well, where do you have it parked? Well, they have it inside their business, so no one can see it from the street or anything like that. And I'm like, well, that's not very good, and I was like, so I personally made them a sign off Canva, and shipped it to them that said, not renting trucks to hang up. You gotta tell people what you do.
Yeah. Or you could try a little reverse psychology and you could say, we're so busy, we don't have a truck. And you have like a little Mini Cooper or something driving around and it says on the move, we're too busy. We can't give ourselves one of our own trucks because we're,
that's awesome.
But that stuff always appeals to me, not just because of humor, but also because you're taking something that's, that is, you can't just say, oh, we're so busy, we're so great, we're the fourth largest. So it does bring to mind, well, how do we differentiate from other companies? What do you do in that? What are the things that you try to hit in differentiating your brand?
Well, I mean, really teaching each other how to use it and really being there for our customers. And I mean, I've been in the shoes as a manager. I manage a storage facility. I knew what it was like to rent a truck out with a manual form. And so I created a software to be able to rent it out. And so just keeping up with your customers and being the consultant. I mean, I know that's a cheesy word that we use, but really if we want them to be successful, we got to show them how, right? And we see it across the country, what people are doing. So we actually do a quarterly magazine, even about 32-page magazine that we send out to our customers about our other customers.
Yeah. And what happened during the pandemic? Was there some change?
That is what has been the most bizarre thing ever for us is, I mean, you never know until you go through something like this, but our customers were thriving. Our self-storage customers had the most, their storage facilities were full. They had a waiting list and they upped their rates by like 15%, which I thought was a little crazy, but people weren't moving. People were not moving out of the storage facility. They didn't want to, they had fear to see other people, even at a storage facility. So people were staying longer, they were charging more, and we couldn't keep up with demand.
Yeah. And people were staying put. I mean, they just were, they were in a kind of a wait and see mode. One of the great things about storage is that you don't have to do anything, right, to maintain a storage facility. We've all had storage facilities and done moves and then left some stuff in one place. And then, you just keep it there. Cause like you say, you won't have room for your Christmas tree if you keep everything at home, but so that makes sense. Let me ask you this. This is a hypothetical situation. Let's say that you were going to pursue something in addition to, or instead of the business that you are involved in. Has there been anything out there that you were like, that's intriguing, I wonder what that might be like?
Well, my personal dream is always to own a hotel. I always wanted to own like a boutique hotel and just have it be really cool, like with the convention center and all the different networking areas, like, kind of like a Gaylord. I always vision myself making one of those one day. But then I also learned that was 365 days a year, no breaks. Your hotel's open 24/7. And so,
yeah, I mean, hospitality is not for the faint of heart.
And I feel like somebody was watching over me because with the pandemic, that was the best. I mean, you saw those hotels. I mean, they were closing their doors. They didn't have
Well,
enough staffing and
all you need to do is watch White Lotus, that show White
yeah.
Lotus. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did.
It's very fun and fantastical and dark and funny,
It was
but
great.
it's like the people are under so much stress in the
Right.
hospitality industry. I've worked with a lot of hotels, and I did it. One thing that I really enjoyed was, because I do stand-up comedy also, and
Oh
we
yeah.
put together, this was right before the pandemic, so it really didn't happen the way it was supposed to, but we had put together a branded tour, with hotels. The idea would be that the comedians are going to hotels to, they're on the road. So they're renting a car, they're doing the staying in the hotel, they're putting on shows in the hotel. And
Right.
then when the pandemic hit, you couldn't do it. And we tried doing outdoor stand-up shows, which did catch on, where people would beep the horn instead of, it was so strange. It was just the
That's right.
strangest thing I've ever,
It was
that came to mind.
it was very bizarre. And it's so funny because that's like, I did see that you were a comedian, but that's like one of my hobbies is to go to comedy shows. My husband and I, we just went to a show for our 5th anniversary. It's like it's just our date night.
Yeah. Who did you see? Do you recall what
Brian
comedian?
Williams?
Brian Regan, maybe, or
No,
Williams.
he's a little guy.
Oh, I don't. Oh,
Or is
yeah.
it Brent? Something
It's
like that.
Brad Williams.
Brad. I thought it was
Yes, I know
named.
Brad. Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah.
Brad is a phenomenal comic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
Brian
was
Williams is a newscaster.
oh,
That's
oops.
where if you go to, who has been quite funny on occasion. He used to be on, but that's why at first I was like, no, yes. But
See,
there's
and that's
another
what I did.
comedian.
And that's
Yeah, go
what I
ahead.
did with my husband. I was telling everybody we were going to Kevin James.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking it was Kevin Hart. And I was like totally off. I was like, oh no. I
They're
just really bad
different.
I'm really bad with names. I just go where I'm told and laugh. So
Yeah, and laugh. Yeah, there's a comedian named Brian Regan who's very
yeah.
funny, Jim Gaffigan,
Oh
and a
yeah.
lot of guys, a lot of men and women that are out there making people laugh, and in a lot of ways helped us get through some of those crazy times.
Well, it was a
Um,
lot. It was pretty funny though, because they're coming, these big names are coming to our small San Antonio skipped a lot. We're
right.
skipped over for a lot of tours for music, for comedies,
Oh,
everything, because we're just I don't know why they just don't like us or whatever. So we had a lot of comedians coming to San Antonio and they come to this like our little hole in the wall. It's really, I mean, it's pretty nice, but it's
yeah.
it's a small little theater and then there was like, there were these beads behind for the background and everyone was just like, what is this? And like hitting the
See,
beads.
see now, CJ, you could do a campaign for On the Move, but it's a truckload of comedians.
Oh,
And you have
cool.
your trucks that are bringing comedians into San Antonio to
Oh, wow.
revive the comedy scene. See, and then it for once you get to be the brand because you're on the truck. It's actually your truck, and it has the On the Move and whatever. But you actually are bringing some of your favorite comedians to town.
Oh, no, that's awesome. That is a great idea because it's definitely, we're actually working on our show truck right now to design it to take to all the different shows for next year.
Ah,
And
okay.
right now it's the guys are a little annoyed with me because I'm like, everyone's doing Barbie. Let's jump on the Barbie
Oh, right,
train.
right,
And so
okay.
we're going to like a real estate show. So we obviously can't use Barbie, but we can use pink. And so we're
Right.
doing, Dream House.
Like a dream house, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So it's pretty fun to do the graphics for
Well,
that.
that's good too. That's good too. But all right.
But
Well, that's enough.
but personally, I want the comedians to come.
Yeah,
So
that's another.
that
Well, see, we'll have that. That'll be another conversation. We'll have that conversation figured out how to bring the comedians. In the meantime, so what other things are going on right now that you're excited about?
Well, I've been working for the last year on a software program for our customers to make it easier for them to rent trucks out. They actually just send the link to their customer. The customer fills out all the information, takes a picture of their driver's license, does everything remote, basically. So and it just helps the storage owner. It has like the Calendly link. So they don't have to be like,
Yeah.
okay, what day is the truck available? And they can actually see it. And the customer can be like, okay, I'm available this date. And it kind of takes out the middleman. It takes out the middleman. And so I'm really excited to launch that in the next couple of months. And we actually designed it though to white label it. So our customers can send the link out with their own brand and their truck and upload a picture of their own truck.
Right. Again,
And
always looking out for the customer, but it seems to be working. You're getting more customers, you're growing, and you're innovating. and you're having fun.
Right.
And, and interestingly, you've seemed to have found a really great niche for yourself within the family business, which is phenomenal.
Absolutely. It's been a long road, but it's been a fun road. And it's definitely, with me, with the marketing, I've always been passionate about marketing. I was VP of marketing and sales here for many years, and marketing director was my first job that I gave myself the title because my family never changed my title, but I was doing all the marketing. And
Right.
my title was outside sales coordinator. And I'm I'm not writing this on every single form. We don't even have an outside sales team. We didn't have it. That didn't really take off. So,
well, you have to have a marketing mind to market yourself.
yeah.
And some people don't. That's one of the hardest things sometimes is marketing yourself, because whether it's a company or whatever, but then it's time for a change for, your role, and you have to make that happen. And that's hard sometimes.
Absolutely. It's definitely hard to brand yourself. But we do have a lot of easier ways. It's it's a lot easier to make a website nowadays. We can find a template and be able to put our resume out there, and business cards are pretty cheap to print offline, so.
Right. Well, I always, having been a client, service provider, I'm always like, it's so much easier to talk about clients and to talk about other brands and talk about them than talk about yourself. So, that's why we have to help each other, that everybody, so your clients speak very well of you, and then that's your reward for treating them so well. So it all works out.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad we got to talk about some stuff that's a little off the beaten path of the truck beat, and yet at the same time, we learned a little bit about the company as well. So thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
If you've enjoyed this episode of Brand Voice Runway, please leave a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast. The positive reinforcement keeps us going. Who am I kidding? Founders like us keep going regardless. Thanks so much for listening, and make tomorrow greater than today.